What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to today's video. We're going to be reacting to everything that dropped from Madden 20 today from EA Play. It was the gameplay trailer. We got some snippets of all of the superstar X Factor's abilities and some good gameplays. We saw Juju, a lot of Patty Mahomes, aka Michael Vick 2.0. And we got at the very end of this video, because that's how YouTube works. It's not even, I didn't even stretch it over 10 minutes. But we got the Philly special, the full-on Philly special, which is going to be in the game. It's what can we take from a gameplay trailer? It's a lot more. I remember I made a tweet saying, what do you guys think about this gameplay? I want your feedback and all that stuff. And people are like, oh, it's just going to be all generated stuff and like some, gimmicky trailer that's not really going to show you what's going on. And that's somewhat of a valid point. In years past, we have seen that, but we got a lot, man. I honestly, here's how I feel. Last year was the big transitionary period between the dev teams. And while the gameplay universally was ass come the end of Madden 19, I will still stand by my original, very popular Madden 19 review when I gave it an 8 originally, and I said if they don't fix the things that I think they could tidy up within the first patch, it's a 7. And I think, okay, understanding that 8, 7, we'll say it's a 7 because they obviously didn't fix the things I think they should. A 7, though, given the state of the gameplay when Madden 19 came out, I think it was fair. I had fun with Madden 19 for the most part, but then after the game got patched to death, it was absolutely dead. And when we look at the gameplay we saw from today at EA Play, look, the run game looks better. I mean, that was non-existent in Madden 19. You could simply not run the ball. I like the fact that it looks like when you throw the ball and you lead your receivers, you're going to have a lot more success. There's not going to be these weird overthrows, weird interception animations. It's going to be about leading on the receiver, which is old school Madden. That is like someone like me that's been playing Madden for quite some time. That's how the game used to be. It wasn't just sticky fingers. Every time you threw it to a guy, you got locked into an animation. It was lead your wide receiver. Actually throw it like how a quarterback would throw it. Throw it with anticipation, rewarding a player for making the correct throw, however difficult it may be. And that hasn't been in the last couple of Maddens. You'll see in my gameplay. I'm not some pro, but I'm not a bad Madden player. But there'll be sometimes where I clearly lead a receiver. No matter what I do, it gets insta-locked into an interception. I'll complain about it. But it looks like from this Madden 20 gameplay that leading a receiver is back, which is dope. And a little bit later on, I might as well just talk about it now. I got the gameplay. It's just footage in the back here. They added in RPOs, and like I said, Philly special. That's going to be a little bit intriguing. Not so much for me. I know that I'm obviously, and obviously everyone else that plays Madden and does Madden franchise content, we're pretty unique because we just play against computer. But I feel like RPOs could be very annoying when you're playing user to user. If you're sitting on a couch playing your buddy, they'll be very, very difficult to stop. Similar to the RPOs that were, well, not the RPOs, but the option plays. Remember, like 3 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, how long was it? Remember when Kaepernick? My buddy's a Niner fan, and he would just friggin' do read option plays with Colin Kaepernick, and there's like no real way to stop it. You could even call it a perfect play, and even then, there'd be just weird insta-block animations that if you have an athletic enough quarterback, you just gotta just cheese it and go. And I feel like RPOs could kind of be like that. Clint has been able to go on Twitter and said QB contain is the bee's knees this year, essentially, which clearly, if you want to, properly stop an RPO, that's what you're gonna want. I will say, as someone that likes to user the defensive line, this year I might need to transition to linebackers. I feel like those of us that are really good at using linebackers are going to be the best at adapting and stopping these RPOs. And I mean, almost everyone starts by playing linebacker spot. I used to play linebacker until I just fell in love controlling defensive ends. So I'm going to have to get back into that when I get on the sticks. But gameplay itself, today was the gameplay, but we also got some good information, more deep dives, looking at the menus and stuff of what the X Factors are going to look like. Gameplay looks good. Gameplay always looks good until you really get to, you really get to sink your teeth in. There's going to be a beta dropping. I don't know if I have any pull to get some beta codes, but if I do, you better believe I'm going to milk the shit out of that on social media and on Twitter. But it'd be dope to get my hands on this game and be able to hop in and play a little bit of the beta. But I mean, the gameplay, from what I can see, because I really obviously I can recap what I saw in the gameplay. I have a wealth of Madden experience to kind of assume what the gameplay is going to be, but really talking about gameplay, you can't really give you... I can't really tell you how it's going to be without actually physically playing it a lot myself. So we do go into the X Factors. Now, the X Factors here, they look good. I think ultimately a video game, like we talked about this before, I mean, the information that we got today generally is nothing more drastic than what we got in the Twitch streams a couple weeks ago. But I think ultimately the fact that superstar players are going to play like superstar players, it kind of gives the Madden devs an out when cheese happens for really good players, where they can say, well, it was designed, versus previous years when some similar things would happen. It was just a gameplay flaw. But I think ultimately looking at it positively, not being optimistic, I think really good players should spank you. I want that added challenge. The biggest thing ultimately that kills Madden's replayability is the fact that everyone feels the exact same. Khalil Mack felt no different than a 72 defensive end. If they were going to beat you with block insta-sheds, they were going to beat you with insta-sheds. If the truly good players are going to spank me consistently, and it's going to be my job as the user to go into these games and identify, this guy's going off, this guy's in his X factor, I either got to avoid that side of the field, I need to make sure that I'm throwing quick slants, screen passes, stuff to get him out of that X factor. I think that's a huge positive for gameplay. And it's going to make teams that have these superstar X factors already in the game, as you go through your drafts and get random generated players or use custom draft classes. Trust me, I'm going to put some ones in there too. That is good. That is absolutely positive for Madden. I think if you think that's going to be a negative, you're a straight moron. You're just going to complain about everything. The thing that I will say could be a little bit of a concern is we know that there's no regression in Madden this year. They removed that feature so that on the positive, you're not going to get that whole, I have a guy that got DB of the year, most interceptions, goes down a dev trait. That's good. But when you get someone like Patrick Mahomes, who was, obviously he's a cover athlete, so he's going to be featured heavily throughout this gameplay video, as he gets super old, he's still going to have all these things because he doesn't regress. So you're going to have like a 41-year-old Mahomes that's at 78 overall with 85 throw power, for an example. And then if he gets an X factor, he's going to get that bazooka and still be able to chuck that ball 80, 85 yards downfield. So that could be a little bit cause of concern. The downside maybe of not having the regression in the game. But, again, I think obviously in a perfect world, this would be all ironed out and it would work perfectly. But unfortunately, it's Madden, and things don't always go your way for a Madden game, for things that you want to see in it. Obviously, we didn't get coaching carousels. Obviously, there wasn't a huge change to scouting. While there is a little bit of fog toward scouting, which is good, and it definitely seems like that's a direction that the franchise is going to be going in, adding more and more of the fog of war feature. If you don't know what that is, just Google it, NHL fog of war. It's definitely the direction that franchise mode needs to continue to go down. I mean, from a gameplay trailer, outside of the X factors and all that stuff, I think it's going to be It's going to be a decent game. Worst case scenario, it will be Madden 19 in terms of suckage. I was able to play Madden. I'm still playing Madden 19. Obviously, I had to find ways to make it exciting, do the flashback franchise and stuff like that, but I'm still playing the game versus Madden 18, where it literally was, I couldn't do it. I literally could not do it. So I definitely think Madden 20 is going to be built up upon from Madden 19, and it's going to be a solid game. I'm not going to say it's going to be the great game, be all end all of Madden games, but I think it's going to be a solid game. So what do you guys think about it? What were your takeaways from the gameplay trailer today? If there's any way that I can get beta codes, I'll be sure to keep you guys in the loop. I'm sure the Philly special clip already happened. That's awesome. But if it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Lots of content coming in Madden 20. Until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.